which is just around the corner. And Trudy and I are very passionate about this topic. Trudy and I met at Weight Watchers several years ago, and we were leaders together. And she now is a wellness coach and a nutrition professional. So, Trudy, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes, hi everyone, and thank you so much for joining us. My name is Trudy Burrell, and I am a certified health coach as well as a fitness coach and personal trainer. Like Colleen said, we met in Weight Watchers years ago. I was overweight and I joined Weight Watchers to assist me with losing the weight, which was very successful. And somewhere along that journey, I decided to work for Weight Watchers, and Colleen was my mentor. And that started our beautiful relationship of empowering extraordinary health through wellness and fitness. So I'm so excited to once again join forces with Colleen to help everyone to live the thriving life that Colleen and I know that you can live.
And Trudy, share with everybody you're the founder of what particular company? What's the name of your
Oh,
company?
thank you, Colleen. I always forget to say
That's
that, right?
okay.
I am actually the owner of Synergy Fitness. And Synergy Fitness is not only wellness, but it's also nutritional planning as well as fitness planning.
Right. And you got your fitness coaching at what point? You tell us the story of how it kind of meshed together and that kind of thing.
Yeah. Oh, and it's so funny because it all started years ago when I met Colleen. I never liked to exercise, and I started in my basement with an old exercise bike that I found on my street. And little would I have known that that exercise bike would have led into a career for me. So I started my fitness journey there, and then I started dancing with Zumba, fell in love with Zumba, and became a certified Zumba instructor. And once I got really comfortable with Zumba, I decided that I needed to take it a notch up just for me
Okay.
to reach my goals. And that's when I got into strength training and became a certified cycle instructor, and as well as boot camp and other areas of fitness. There's so many areas of fitness, and it's just a matter of finding your fit. So I'm actually AFA certified, which is also NASM, and also ACE certified as well.
Wow, Trudy, that's amazing. And I just love sharing people's story because they need to know that both you and I coming together as, professionals in nutrition, that we also have a backstory. And that's what we're going to be sharing, with everybody tonight. So thanks, Judy, for joining me on this journey to passionately educate people on how they can thrive for the rest of this year and really reflect on how they can push forward to thriving into 2021. So, as we move forward, our topic tonight is going to be in three key components: well being, nutrition, and fitness. You might have caught us on our two previous Tuesdays where we talked about well being and nutrition. So, this is more of a recap. And Trudy is really going to share with us that fitness component because we felt tonight that everybody wants to start with fitness, join the gym, join a Zumba class. And yeah, that is wonderful. But I think what Trudy and I are going to really kind of hone in on is you need overall balance nutrition. You have to find the right fit between well being, nutrition, and fitness. So that's what we're going to be talking about. So, Trudy, tell us your feeling. We're going to start with well being and self care, and tell everybody about self care where you take it to.
Yeah, self-care is not selfish. Once again, we have been taught that as women that we take care of everyone else, but we do take care of ourselves, but we were always on the back burner. We were last. I truly believe that we cannot care for anyone unless we first care for ourselves. So once we care for ourselves and we feel good about where we are and who we are, we can actually take care of someone else, our loved ones, or whoever that may be. So self care is an act of doing something for you. And that could look different for everyone. For someone, it could be a bubble bath, it could be a massage, it could be taking a fitness class, but doing something that makes you feel better about yourself.
You just put it so well. So we're just going to move on to the next chapter of our well-being and talk about, stress. Stress is a kind of a response mechanism to a situation that's going on. So when we think about the COVID, the virus, we can be stressed because of work-related things, and there could be some things going on. So Trudy, compound on different things that happen when we have that environmental factor like COVID or losing a job or a marital separation.
Yes, yeah. Once we have those different things that enter our life, it can actually lead to stress. And we know that stress can affect our bodies in so many ways. Stress can lead to overeating. It could definitely lead to digestive problems where we have a problem with our digestive system. Stress could also lead to some mental, how would we say that, Colleen? It could lead into with some emotional
Mhm.
and not feeling well. So there's so many effects that stress can have on our bodies. I'm all about preventive care. So I come in with how can we prevent the stress? Or once we're in a stressful situation, what can we do to actually alleviate that stress that we have on our bodies? Whether you're doing something natural or whether you're taking a natural supplement or whether you're using essential oils, there's so many options to help us to de-stress and bring our bodies back to that center and just being mindfulness as well.
So it sounds like what we're all telling everybody is to first work with someone to identify those stressors and then holistically manage it, right?
Yes. Yes.
Wonderful. So we're going to move on and talk about mindfulness. And when Trudy and I were putting this together, she had the best kind of definition of what mindfulness is. So I'm going to let her tell her thing on mindfulness, and then I'll go into being more mindful on what you eat. So Trudy, share your lovely definition. It's so beautiful.
Oh, thank you, Colleen. It's just remembering what I said because you know how we say so much. But basically, when I think about mindfulness, I think about living in that moment. It doesn't mean that we can't plan for tomorrow. We can't think about what we're going to do. We can't plan for the future. But a lot of times when we live outside of that scope and we think too much about tomorrow and yesterday, we're not enjoying today and we're cheating ourselves on life. So mindfulness is just taking a breather, finding your center, calming down, and just living in that moment and focusing on that moment that you're in.
And I really love how you put that because how often are we not in the moment with our family, even if we just go back to, the Christmas holiday? Yes, it looks different, but we're still cooking and baking and preparing a meal, whether it's for two or four people, and we want to make it perfect. And we're so not in that moment. And then I think we tend to overeat. Same situation might be when you even go to a coffee shop to meet a friend. You might be so stressed getting there that subconsciously you order a pumpkin muffin or a pastry because you're so rushed. So I love how it's being in that moment. And then it's okay to be in that moment and choose something that is either healthy or unhealthy, but as long as we make that right choice. Thoughts on that, Trudy?
Yes, I totally agree with you. And when you were talking, you made me think of another component is when we're thinking about mindfulness is being grateful. You know,
Right.
we always focus on things that's like you were talking about the rushing to get to Starbucks, or, maybe I was stuck in traffic, but being grateful, maybe you were stuck in that traffic for a reason. Maybe you were avoiding an accident or whatever the case may be. But another part of mindfulness is being grateful. And when we view our life through a grateful outlook or a grateful heart, it definitely releases stress. It helps us to be mindful and it helps us to enjoy that quality time that we're having with friends or family as well.
Right. I'm so thankful you brought in the gratefulness because that is something that I believe everyone should begin doing if they aren't doing so moving into 2021. Even
Yes.
if it's just being grateful for your cup of coffee, or grateful for your slippers, something really small, but it's the habit of doing that that really can bring you back to the importance of your daily life.
Yes, yes. And it's so funny when you said for your cup of coffee. I was in the shower this morning, Colleen, and I was just being grateful just to feel the shower
Yeah,
water streaming on my body, because
right.
we take stuff for that for granted, that we're going to turn on that faucet and that water is going to be there. But when we look at how the coronavirus has affected society and so many people
Right.
losing their homes, it's like we really need to have a grateful attitude.
Definitely. So hopefully the people will definitely say, hey, that's one thing I'm going to start starting 2021. So we're going to
Yes.
talk about, sleep. And sleep is, more of what Trudy and I would call restorative care. And we really have to look at making sure we get that good quality of sleep, that 6 to 8 hours. And Trudy's going to talk a little bit about having a ritual or a routine, which I really think you all need to listen to because I've been starting to adapt some of those principles since we started this series together. So, Trudy, share your sleep routine tips.
Thank you. I look at sleep as a ceremony. It doesn't actually start when you're about to go to bed or go to sleep. It's something that you prepare your body for. Um, Starting to disconnect from social media and all the gadgets that we're attached to, because that blue light can zap your melatonin. um, Having a recap of the day, recapping your day, focusing on what went well, and focusing on what you accomplished and who have you helped. Even down to the foods that you're eating, there are some foods that actually calm our body. For instance, I love magnesium. Magnesium is very calming. Whether you're taking a supplement or maybe you put some magnesium or cacao powder in your smoothie. Essential oils, lavender is excellent. So you can even start by putting some essential oils in your diffuser. That's another way to start preparing your body for watching what you're watching on TV, things that are going to keep you hyper. So just monitoring and paying attention to your daily activities can actually make a big difference to prepare you to have a good night's sleep. And if someone is having a hard time sleeping, there's so many apps that can help you. I have a calm app that I like to listen to. There's some motivational stories, there's scriptures. There's also something that are called binaural beats. They actually help to turn, or I would say decrease your brain waves, so that you can actually stop thinking about what I did today, what I didn't do. It just calms you and prepare you to have a good night's sleep.
Wow, who knew that in the section of well-being, there's so much involved in sleep and how we take it for granted
Yes.
so easily. And that's research has shown that when we don't get enough sleep, it's correlation with disease and weight gain and all sorts of things. So hopefully everybody takes a few tips from Trudy on that ceremony of sleep and starts taking that as a ritual for 2021. Now we're going to dive right into our nutrition component, and we're going to be talking about macronutrients. And Trudy's going to share the macronutrition side of this particular topic.
Yeah, are needed by the body in large amount. It has such an impact on our bodies, the way that we metabolize, the way that we eat, and the way that we breathe, and the way that we live, even the way that our body actually function. So when you think of macronutrients, I want you to think of protein. I want you to think of complex carbohydrates. And complex carbohydrates actually include your fruits and veggies. They are actually considered a carb. And then we want you to think about fat. Those three actually make up your macronutrients. Now, someone asked me, Colleen, they was like, well, what about calcium? Where does calcium fall into there? Well, Colleen's going to talk to you about calcium because it's actually a micronutrient. Yeah. So even though we look at it as a nutrition, it's still a part of nutrition, but it's not a macro. So when you think about macronutrients, you think about lean proteins and you think about nuts and legumes and beans. Those are your lean proteins. You want to make sure that you're eating at least 4 servings of that per day. And when you think about complex carbs, you're thinking about fruits and veggies and quinoa and baked potato, sweet potatoes and brown rice and barley and oatmeal. Those are your complex carbs. Of course, your simple carbs, you want to have those in moderation. Definitely maybe special occasions, but definitely limiting those because of the effect that they can have on our body. But everything in moderation. And your fats, avocados, nuts, seeds, nut butters, olive oil, avocado oil, making sure that you're getting in algae oil, fish oils, which can actually fall into micronutrients. But those are your macros that you want to make sure that you're focusing on a daily basis.
And that basically helps with body function and cellular repair, correct?
Correct. Yes.
So we need that. But could you go into just a brief detail? Because I think some people get confused on those simple carbs.
Yes. Yeah. So when you think about simple carbs, the ones that we said, or I said that you want to have in moderation, I want you to think about white rice and I want you to think about white flour and cookies and cakes and pastries and certain granola bars and Pop Tarts, which I should not be saying the brand name, but those are your simple carbohydrates, and they're loaded with sugars. They have been stripped of all nutrients. They have no nutritional value. They won't keep you satiated long. They're going to have you craving and wanting more. And those are the ones that can, if you have too many of them, can actually cause some complications with our health. And that's one of the reasons I say to have those in moderation.
So we're talking about all those good things loaded with sugar that we need to kind of watch out. So it's something that's not from the earth, whereas the macros are basically from the earth, grown and
Exactly.
less processing. The less it comes from, the more it comes from farm to table, the better nutrition you're going to get to really help you at the cellular level.
Yes.
All right, so we're going to move on quickly to our, we talked about the macronutrients and quite so now we're going to talk about the micronutrition. Now, the micronutrition is what's inside of those, that macronutrients, what's inside the apple, the avocado, the pomegranate. Inside all of those, they're grown from the earth, which has, the soil and all the trace minerals from, the farmer as he grows it. And hopefully he's growing, organically and putting some minerals in there. So in an apple, you have things like cobalt, selenium, zinc, calcium, magnesium, all of those trace minerals that we tend to turn to a isolated vitamin supplement because the foods that are farmed currently, the soil is not as nutrient dense as it was back 30 or 40 years ago. They're picking apples very early and then shipping them on the truck. Bananas are ripening on the way, so they're losing that trace nutritive value unless I'm, going to a farmer's market or finding a reputable produce stand, maybe at the West Side Market. I'm really missing a lot of micronutrition in there. So one of the things that Shooty and I recommend to people is more of a whole food supplementation because we can't get enough of the 10 to 12 servings of broccoli or spinach to get all of the calcium that is in kale and all our green leafy vegetables. So many people go to a calcium supplement when really you can turn to products like a Juice Plus, which has an orchard, garden, and vineyard blend, which has the iron and has all of those whole foods, the pineapple juiced at its peak. So you really have to be aware of where your supplementation is coming from because it could be coming from different countries that aren't watching, and they could be white labeled, and you could do more harm than good. And I know Trudy has always recommended a B12 supplement, which is awesome. And share with us some of the other things, Trudy, that we need to be having as well.
Yes, when you think of macronutrients, and Colleen definitely covered that amazingly. Some additional things that I would recommend is making sure that you're taking a vitamin D supplement. Yes,
For
vitamin
sure.
D is so important, especially this time of year. We're not in the sun. Our bodies are covered with clothing. Our bodies will make vitamin D with the right sunlight and, the right exposure, but we're not in the sun. So definitely a vitamin D. I would say have your levels checked with your doctor, but you can definitely safely take anywhere from 2,000 to 5,000 IU's this time of the year. Another micronutrient that I recommend would be a fish oil, or with me being vegan, I would say an algae oil. You want to make sure that you're getting your omega-3s, your DHA, your EPAs, and your DPA, and that will actually be covered in your fish oil or your algae oil. A probiotic. Gut health is so important, and Colleen and I could actually do a separate topic on gut.
Right.
You are what you absorb. If your gut is not in the proper state, you're not even absorbing and digesting your macros and micros, so your body's not getting the nutrition that it needs. 80% of our immune system is actually made in our gut. So we actually have a healthy gut, which comes from probiotics and prebiotics, then you're actually going to have a healthy immune system. Serotonin is not made in our brains, it's actually made in our gut. So if we're taking care of our gut, you're releasing that serotonin. And that could be a reason why Colleen and I are always so happy and upbeat, is because our gut is healthy and happy. And so that's one of my reasons of really stressing a probiotic, or maybe probiotic foods or probiotic beverage. So that's highly recommended. So Colleen said the whole food based nutrition, nutritional supplement. We have the vitamin D, I'm sorry. We have the probiotics. We have the algae oil or the fish oil. And additional supplements are recommended as Colleen and I have a consultation with you and find out what you're eating, how you're feeling. Then we can actually add some additional components, such as a B complex or a B12 or calcium or whatever the case may be.
And Trudy made a really valid point. It's so important. We aren't nutritionally deficient. We don't absorb. We have an absorption issue that
Mhm.
we're eating so many processed foods, and the way farming is today, our guts are not healthy. So it's really important before you look to put any kind of take a micronutrient that's off the shelves, like a turmeric or magnesium. You need to kind of know it's coming from a reputable source, and you really do need to talk to a professional that is aware of these particular products, because there's so many things out there that you need to cleanse and get out before you can add those good nutrition in. So
Yeah.
that was a little lengthy on the micronutrition. Now we're going to talk about, we need to keep, focused on our health, and how do we, stay sound mind and body. And it's so important to just really look to, professionals that way. So Trudy is going to talk really in depth tonight about fitness, because this is really her passion. And she just speaks so very, very well. And so take it away, Trudy, on the fitness component, because that's where I think everyone's going to want to gravitate to, instead of looking at the nutrition, and share the reason why most people look to join a gym or join a club or something before they even dive into their nutrition.
Yes, for most reasons, most individuals believe that fitness is going to give them the results that they want and need for their body. But I always stress, and so does Colleen, you cannot out exercise a bad diet. And when we say diet, we don't mean the diet, we actually mean like a healthy food regimen. It goes hand in hand. Some people actually say that fitness is the king and nutrition is the queen. I would like to reverse that. Fitness is food is actually number one. Once you could lose weight without fitness, but if you're having fitness and you're not eating properly, you're not going to get the results. Now, the fitness will combine with the food, change your body, give you an increase in your weight loss, give you an increase in energy, but you have to have them both together. But at the beginning of the year, it's always let me join a gym. Where's that class? And nothing's wrong with that. We want you to do that. But that combination is going to give you the results and the benefits of what you want. So, being an AFA certified fitness instructor, I want to share with you AFA's definition of fitness. I love their definition. Fitness is any activity or exercise that provokes general improvement in aerobic fitness, flexibility, body composition, muscular endurance, and muscular strength. So when we look at fitness, I want us to think about that it actually helps to improve those particular areas. So we have flexibility, we have aerobic fitness, and we have flexibility, body composition, and muscular strength. When you look at the word fitness, let's dissect that. The very beginning of it says fit. Fitness is all about finding your fit. We see the group of women in the slide, they're actually in a class together. Some individuals actually prefer a class, and that's one of my reasons for teaching fitness on Zoom, because a lot of women or and men, they need a group of people together working out to encourage them, to boost them. So fitness is all about finding your fit. And your fit may actually be working out at home on a YouTube video. It may be going to a gym. It may be having a personal trainer. It may actually be taking a Zumba class. Someone may love dancing. Someone may love cycling. So that's what they're going to do. But it's just a matter of finding your fit and doing something that you can actually stick to. And so remember that it's all about you. And that's another thing that Colleen and I do. We help you to find your fit. It could actually be playing with your children. It could be taking a walk. It's endless what you can do when it comes to the word fitness. So we'll help you to find your fit. So when we talk about fitness, then let's take it to the next level, exercise. Fitness actually goes right into exercise. They're actually two separate things. Remember the definition I shared with you? So here's the definition of exercise from AFA. Exercise is physical activity, which is usually planned, structure, and it produces some level of overload on our body, both physically and mentally. So when you think about working out, it's not just physical, but it's also mental. So you're actually putting stress on your body physically, but it's a good type of stress. But you're also putting stress on your mind, but it's also a good type of stress. Those are the types of stress that you want to inflict your body with. So once again, it's just a matter of finding your fit. So let's break down exercise. There's so many categories. You have cardio and you have strength training. You definitely want to do cardio. It's so good for your heart. It's good for your body. Cardio will help you to burn fat. And what's recommended for cardio is at least 150 minutes of moderate activity per week. So you can take that 150 minutes and you can break that down any way you want to, whether you want to do 3 days or 5 days, but definitely breaking down that 150 minutes. Or you can do 75 minutes of vigorous activity. So break down that 75 minutes, and vigorous activity can look different for all of us because everyone's on different levels with their fitness. Or you can do a combination of moderate activity and vigorous activity, and you can find your fit with that. So when we think of moderate and we think of vigorous, once again, that's different for everyone. So a Zumba class could be moderate to one person, but another person, Colleen, may actually find that that's considered vigorous. So when you think about a circuit training or you think about a HIIT workout, that is what I would consider vigorous. I had an opportunity to work out with Colleen. Colleen, what's the place where you invited me to come?
It was in Broadview Heights. Planet, it wasn't a Planet Fitness. It was FX Fitness, which was an old Bally's.
Yes,
Bally's changed
yes.
to FX Fitness.
That place, and then it's the other place with the zone, Orange Theory.
Orange Theory, right?
Yeah, yeah. So I thought about Orange Theory because I'm a fitness guru and I was like, oh, I can handle this. But when I went there and they actually analyzed me, they gave me a run for my money. That was a vigorous exercise for me. They actually wore me out and I couldn't wait to replenish my body with Colleen afterwards. We stopped and, fed our body some nutrient foods. So when it comes to exercise, I just use that as an example to find your fit with the exercise. So then we talked about cardiovascular, but let's talk about strength training, which is so needed. We see the young ladies here with weights. Strength training does not mean that you're going to bulk up like the Incredible Hulk or Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? I never say his last name right. You're not going to
Yes.
bulk up like him. We don't have the testosterone like the men. We can get buff women if we choose to, but that's a whole nother different story. But let's look at strength training. Strength training is so needed because at the age of 30, we start losing lean muscle mass. And when we start losing the lean muscle mass, our metabolism starts to slow down, right? So the more lean muscle you have, the much higher your metabolism is. So strength training will actually strengthen your body, boost your metabolism, and then it also helps us as we age. As we age, we start losing strength. That's why the elderly, you will find them falling or they're starting to bend over because their bones are getting weaker and dense. So strength training can actually make your bones wider and stronger so we can actually have the quality of life. So many valid reasons to actually add strength training with your cardio, or you can combine them together where you can do a HIIT class that has cardio and strength training, and you're getting that compound workout so you don't have to do two separate workouts. So Colleen and I can actually assist you with finding the best fitness class for you based on where you are in your life and where you want to go.
Oh, Trudy, that was so well done. I'm just gonna, have to move on. So I think people really got a whole understanding of, finding their fit moving forward and really analyze what they're gonna reflect on 2020, what they did, and moving forward to 2021, saying, maybe I need to talk to Trudy and really kind of find my fit, which will be nice. So that would be great,
Yeah,
you
and I
know.
just want to share one more thing, Colleen. You made me think about this. I thought about fitness, and we talked about the physical part of fitness, and we talked about the mental part. Um, I don't normally disclose this, but I just feel led to disclose this. For years and years, I have actually, like when I was younger, I was suicidal, and a lot of people don't know that. I'm usually an outgoing, bubbly person. Sometimes I have a tendency to be inflicted with a little bit of depression, and exercise actually helps with that. There was times when back in when I was younger that doctors had gave me so many antidepressants, and my body just cannot handle modern medicine. I need a holistic approach.
Mhm.
So the first thing one of my doctors said, and not to inflict this on anyone, she was like, do you have a relationship with Jesus? That was the first and foremost. But
Hmm.
after that, it was my exercise. And that's why I do it daily. I exercise because I do want to look good. I want to feel better. I want quality of life at every age. But one of my number one reasons for exercising is the mental benefits that I get from exercising. It actually puts me in that happy place. I haven't dealt with depression or any suicidal thoughts in a long time, like years and years and years, but that's because of the physical activity that releases the serotonin, the dopamine, and all those endorphins. So if anyone find this time of year or any time in your life that you may battle with that, exercise and nutrition is a great way to help with those components.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, Trudy, because that gives people a reason. You can Google 100 reasons why you should exercise. This breaks down the excuses of, not exercising because it's exercising to help keep your mood up because, women, let's be honest, over 40 have, mild postpartum depression or depression that they haven't gotten away from after they had their children. And there's so much stress put on women more so than men that, getting outside, for a walk, that could be, the goal for your 2021 is, my goal is to, mentally feel better. And I need to speak to Colleen and Trudy and really get and hone in on why am I so blue, and finding your fit and your
Mhm.
nutrition fit and your fit. And that's what, to thrive is. It's not a diet. Trudy and I do not proponent diets because it's DIE die. Diet is just more of a way of a pattern of eating or a pattern of lifestyle that we will work with everybody to try to feel good. So Trudy, you knocked that fitness piece out of the ballpark. So thank you so very much. So, you
You.
know, we're going to kind of, wrap it up in a nice bowl. I don't want a bow tonight, and I don't want to, keep everybody too long, because as Trudy mentioned, a lot of these topics can be broken up into different webinars. And that's what you'll see from Synergy Fitness and Sustainable in 2021. So living a life of thriving is, as Judy so kindly reminded me, is like a square. You have to have that balanced square. You have to have your right fit. You have to have your nutrition. You have to have your mental health. You have to have your faith. You have to be focused. You have to surround yourself with a community of people and women who are passionate about, living a thriving life. And if you caught us late, we both met at, a Weight Watchers facility. We both struggled with our weight for a number of years. Trudy, how much weight have you lost, and how long have you kept it off?
Yes, so I lost 75 pounds in 1986. I gained some of that weight back when I gave birth to Chelsea in 1994, and I re-lost that weight again. And then there was a time in my life, Colleen and I was talking, when I lost myself. I didn't know who I was because I was being Desmond's wife and Chelsea's mom. And that's why self-care is so important. I lost who I was and I started focusing on who I was to them. And then that led to eating more because I was not happy with myself.
Right.
So then I had to lose that weight again. So to make a long story short, right? So total altogether, off and on, it was 75 pounds.
I
And
mean,
now I've learned how to keep it off.
and
Li-
that's
Yeah.
incredible. And I say that so people understand who they would be working with in 2021 as we put together a holistic plan of finding your fit, finding the macro micro nutrition component, putting people on a plan. I want everybody to know to stay tuned. January, Synergy Fitness and Sustainable are going to hit it hard with, the first week of January, mindfulness, and, second week, kind of really focusing on maybe we need to detox our body and our environment, starting with that sleep and that well-being, where we're going to break down and do that creative, oh, Trudy, how did you call the sleep ritual? Wasn't it a ritual you called it, or a
Yeah, or a ceremony.
ceremony? Okay, yeah, the sleep ceremony. We'll work on our sleep ceremony together as a group in a community, and then, week 4 into January, going back to some of that, that stress, and, really hit on the self-care, because really, you know, we are two no nonsense gals that are going to break down your excuses, because we've had them all, ladies and gentlemen. We've, been up, 50, down 50, up 100, down 75. We've worked with people that have lost over 100 pounds and helped them keep it off for over 2 years. We know the struggles. Jude and I have walked the walk, but yet we've always come together and say, "Hey, Judy, I need help." I'm like, I'm flagrant. I'm eating, too many, simple carbs because I'm stressed, because I'm doing X, Y, and Z. And she's like, "Well, let's backpedal. Let's try to work." And I do the same for her. So coaches need coached as well. So we really want you to understand that, you know, we're passionate about it. We hit the exercise hard tonight because we want you to understand that it's not a quick fix solution. You know, you're going to be inundated in the next 2 days of join this, do keto, do this, do that. You know, really, what I want you to think about finding the right component, the right fit nutritionally, and consider locking arms with both of us. And you can contact Trudy at www.synergyfitness.com. She's on Instagram. Follow her. She does great little in-home workouts, Synergy, lowercase fitness. I have a Facebook group on Sustainawell, and really stay tuned because we want to invite you to come along to a lifestyle program that we're going to be offering. So, Trudy, do you want to add anything else?
No, we covered it all. Thank you so much, Colleen.
Yeah, so if you have any questions, message either one of us. Thanks, Gail, for joining us as well. You missed it. We also are live on Facebook as well tonight. So
Okay.
reach out to either of us and really hit your nutrition and your wellness because you're all worth it. So have a great night, everybody, and we will stay tuned and see you all in January to help you get your fit on. So
Okay.
have a great one, ladies. Good
All right.
night.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Talk to you